right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for joining us for the first webinar of the new year. And we are incredibly excited to announce this new partnership and this be our first webinar for the year 2024. So without further ado, new year, new smart home, our new partnership with Safestreets. Let's get to the first things first. We're going to go over our new partnership with Safestreets for this new smart home solution. Then we'll talk about Safestreets product education. We'll go over adding Safestreets in the project generator. And then we'll discuss the importance of attachment rates. And like all of our webinars, we will wrap up with a Q&A session. About halfway through this presentation, you will see the option to start submitting questions for our Q&A. We will take those questions, and once the presentation portion is over, we'll begin to answer those questions with our panel of guests from Freedom Forever and Safestreets that have joined us here today. So, what is this new partnership with Safestreets? Safestreets is one of ADT's oldest, largest, and most experienced authorized dealers. Safestreets operates in 44 states and is committed to bringing high-tech security to the place that matters most, your home. And Freedom Forever is teaming up with Safestreets to provide a new and improved smart home solution for our customers. So what does that look like? Each Freedom Forever solar installation is now eligible for a Google Smart Home promotional package at no additional cost. Safestreets and Freedom will bring exceptional quality, speed, and value immediately following the solar sale to create a better customer experience. Now, this promotion applies to all financing types offered by Freedom Forever, including Cash, Mosaic, Sunrun, and Everbright. And we're going to show you a brief video here about our new partnership with Safestreets.
Step into a new era of smart home security and service. Google and Safestreets, united for your 5-star experience. Cutting-edge technology meets personalized care, delivering unparalleled safety. Our teamwork ensures top-notch protection and trustworthy service, all while unlocking incredible energy savings through smart home innovations. Google plus Safestreets, your ultimate safety partnership. Experience the difference today and discover the unprecedented energy savings that come with the ultimate smart home security.
As you can see from that video, we are incredibly excited to start this new partnership with Safestreets and talk to you about the different Google product offerings that are going to be available to you to offer to your customers. So first, let's take a look at the Google Basics plan. Now, this plan has about an $1,100 value. It includes a Google Hub, a Google Nest doorbell camera, the Google Nest thermostat, remote access, and professional installation. 12 months of equipment warranty and Nest Aware are also included in the Basics package. But what does the Basics package cost to the customers? The Basics package is at no additional cost for our customers. So you can see on the left-hand side what the retail pricing would be. It would be $96 a year and those equipment costs. But because of this exclusive partnership, the first 12 months are included as well as the equipment. After the first 12 months, starting on month 13, that $8 a month charge would begin if they continue their contract. The next package is the Google Essentials, which has a $1,375 value. It includes a command control panel, the Google Nest doorbell camera, 3 entryway sensors, a motion detector, remote access, the Nest thermostat, and professional installation. It also includes 12 months of equipment warranty and Nest Aware. The monthly cost for this, if you were to have retail pricing, would be roughly $840 a year plus those equipment costs of $1,375. Again, because of our exclusive partnership with Safestreets, the first 12 months of that service and warranty plan are included, and then after those 12 months, beginning at month 13, it would be $69.99 a month. Okay, so let's talk about the Google Premium package, which has a $2,324 value. With this package, you get a larger command control panel, the doorbell camera, the Nest thermostat, 4 entryway sensors, the motion sensor, remote access, 2 Google outdoor cameras, a smart door lock, and that same professional installation. The 12 months of equipment warranty with Nest Aware and professional monitoring are also included. The retail price for the premium plan is again around $840 a year. The equipment costs are $23.24. With the partnership with Freedom Forever, the first 12 months of the premium plan are included. After month 12, it's $69.99 a month, and the equipment is included. So again, here's a breakdown of all three of the packages, what's included. The first 12 months are free for all three of these packages. You can see the different equipment that comes with the basics, the essentials, and the premium package. And we'll have more information after we wrap this webinar. We'll send a lot of this out in the webinar recap today. So let's talk about how to add smart home to your projects. When you're in the project generator, you'll now see the Google Smart Home package for the basics, the essentials, and the premium. So depending on which option you've chosen in Aurora, this will transfer over to the project generator. And after you've done your project generation, you will also receive a pop-up window discussing the benefits of going with Google Smart Home, that Safestreets will be installing that smart home package, and they'll be reaching out within a couple of days of project submission to schedule the installation of that project. Now, let's talk about the Google Smart Home with Safestreets costs when you're building that into Aurora. So our dealers that are enrolled in PTO Pay, for the basics package, there is no adder to add basics to your project. For the Essentials package, it is a $600 adder, and for the Premium package, it is $1,200, again for dealerships enrolled in PTO Pay. For dealers not enrolled in PTO Pay, the Basics package is $800, the Essentials package is $1,400, and the Premium package is $2,000. All of these options will be available in Aurora when you're on the pricing page and the listed adder sheet, and you'll choose the appropriate option depending on your enrollment in PTO Pay. Before we move on to attachment rates, we do want to show you the current coverage map for Safestreets. So all the areas in blue are the areas that will be currently active for Safestreets to be attached, and this will grow as the partnership grows as well. Inside of the Sales Resource Center, you'll find a folder with additional Safestreets info, and that is going to be up there now. So after this presentation, you can navigate over to Lightspeed, go to the Sales Resource Center, and jump over to that Safestreets folder and consume some of the resources we've already uploaded to that folder. So let's go ahead and move on now to the importance of attachment rates for smart home projects. So what we found historically is that you get more installs when smart home is attached to the project. So no smart home attached, typically about a 46% installation rate. With smart home installed, 87%. So let's look at some fast facts about the attachment rates of smart home. Now, based on the performance of a top performing Freedom dealer, 72% attach rate at the time of sale. Of the projects attached, they're getting an install rate of 58%. Of those 58% installed, we're seeing an 87% realization rate. So what does that look like for your bottom line? So how this impacts your bottom line is pretty simple. If you just break down those numbers, if a rep completes 6 sales with an average commission of around number like $5,000, with a realization rate of 46% without adding a smart home option, the rep on average will see 3 of those installs realized. The rep would make approximately $15,000 in commissions. Now, when a rep attaches a smart home promotion to the sale, the realization rate of 87% would see 2 more deals realized, and they would make approximately $25,000 in commissions based on the realization rate of attaching with smart home. All right, so we do have our panel of guest speakers here with us now. So we're going to go ahead and get to that Q&A session. In the middle of this presentation, we opened up the Q&A for everyone. So hopefully you've been adding some questions to the queue, and we'll get those answered now. All right, everyone, now is your chance to open up that Q&A. Make sure you've got some questions that you want to have addressed by our panel. We're still waiting for some of those to come in. So if you have any questions regarding the Safestreets partnership, go ahead and drop those in the Q&A now. All right, we have a first question from Mike. Where does Vivint fit into this? Still an option or now solely smart home through ADT? Rob, do you want that one?
Sure, I can take this. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, so Vivint is still an option. It is still going to be offered. As you probably saw last night, there was an email last night about some adder changes. So there were some adder changes to the Vivint packages as of this morning. So it is still being offered for the time being. The adders have changed, they have increased. And as soon as we launch Safestreets, that'll be kind of the no cost adders, Mark, or the no cost option rather, as Mark mentioned earlier in the presentation. So for now, you'll have both options on any given job where you have both in any given zip code for any given project. You can choose which one you want, and you'll have the appropriate or the applicable adders for any given package.
Appreciate that, Rob. Next question is from Levi. This one's going to be for Shane. How many months is the customer required to continue the agreement with Safestreets after month 13?
But at the end of the 12 months, the customer will have the option to continue service or discontinue service and monitoring at their discretion. So if they want to choose to move on, obviously Safestreets would love that. If they want to cancel, certainly they can do that too. So there's no obligation after the 12 months to continue if they choose not to.
Thanks, Rob. Question from Ashley. Also, I think, Rob, you might be busy on these ones. What happens if the install isn't scheduled?
What happens if the install isn't scheduled? Not sure exactly what you mean by that, Ashley. If you know, as the sales rep in the house, you can call in. Once you submit the project, you can call into Safestreets to schedule. If you don't call to schedule, Safestreets will call out to the homeowner for 5 or so days afterwards to attempt to schedule. If they're not able to reach the customer, of course, you or the customer, the sales rep or the customer can call in to attempt to schedule. If the customer just doesn't end up scheduling it, then the smart home never gets installed. And of course, if there were an adder added to the scope of work for the smart home that never ended up getting installed, then of course you could always submit a ticket to request that be removed. Hopefully that answers your question.
Thanks, Rob. Next question is from Marco. Is this available in Puerto Rico? We did get an answer from Shane in the chat. Currently not available in Puerto Rico at this time. Could change in the future as they expand their coverage area, but for the time being, it is not available in Puerto Rico. Good question. Next question is from Bryce, and that is, what is the timeline of installation after the sale? That could be either for Rob or Shane if you got your mic working.
Pause and see if Josiah or Shane want to jump in on this one. If not, I'm happy to. Assuming they have audio working, which I don't think they do. So I'll jump in here. So no worries. So
do you have an answer in the chat from Shane?
Yep, appreciate that. Yeah, so typically, again, we're partnering with Safestreets here because of their kind of operational efficiency and 5-star service here. So really looking forward to what they can do, and I think everybody out there is going to have a really tremendous experience with Safestreets on the installation side. So very excited for everybody to have a great experience here. Typically, they'll be able to install within 48 to 72 hours from the time of sale. Of course, depends on the market, depends on the zip code, depends on the customer's availability. There's a lot of factors in here, but they do expect to have installation dates available within 1 to 3 days from the sale, and then it's a 3 to 4 hour install in most cases, same day. So should be pretty good.
All right, we do have a lot of great questions coming in. We're going to start working through some of these. This question is from Lee. Does the homeowner need to sign a contract with Smart Home? I assume that means when they come to install. Is there separate documentation that needs to be signed when Safestreets comes to install their Smart Home?
Yeah, so this is going to work very similarly to what most of you are used to with our existing smart home provider. So you would have an opt-in form in the Freedom Docs that the customer would sign, and that opt-in form basically just says, yes, I want to take part in this promotion, and I understand that there are terms and conditions to the promotion. Then at the installation, there would be, yes, an agreement that would be signed between the homeowner and Safe Streets for the smart home equipment, as well as the monitoring for the 12 months.
Great question. I know, so some of these are probably going to be recurring, so we hope that we answer some. We get them answered as they're coming in. Is this from Rich?
Yes. Yep. As mentioned, the goal here is to get this installed as quickly after the sale as possible. Um, Again, as Mark went over perfectly during the presentation, we see a huge bump in realization when the smart home system is installed. So the whole goal here is get the smart home installed as early as we can, get that customer kind of committed to moving forward with their solar, and really show them a great experience from the word go with the smart home installation. And when that happens, we see significantly higher solar installation. So it works out for everybody.
Thanks, Rob. Next question is from Albert, and that is, where will this presentation be available? I'm glad you asked. We have a video library that is accessible directly from Lightspeed. So after we complete this presentation and the Q&A, we will send out a recap email that will link directly to the presentation we did today, but we'll also upload it to Lightspeed to our video library, so you and anyone else on your teams can kind of jump into the video library, scan through all of the webinars we've done in the past. It's a great resource for training and going over some of the webinars we've done in 2023 and now 2024. So thank you for that question. We have a question for Rob. This is from Matt. If they cancel after 12 months, is there a fee, and do we just come take the equipment back?
There is no fee, and the homeowner can keep the equipment. If they want to remove it, they can remove it. I'm not sure if Safestreets has, the offering to come and remove the equipment. I don't think they do, but the customer, it's their equipment at that point, so they can keep it.
Thanks, Rob. Where do we find the locations list that we can check our specific city? So like in the presentation, we discussed there is a folder in the Sales Resource Center that not only is going to have a map of current coverage areas, but also a zip code list. So if you navigate to the Sales Resource Center in Lightspeed to the Safe Streets folder, you'll be able to bring up that location list and that zip code list to find out if this is currently available in your area. Great question. All right, we got a couple more we're going to grab here. Bear with us. We got a lot of great questions coming in. So I'm going to mute for a second and add some more to the queue here. All right, question from Riley. Can this product integrate with customers' existing smart home systems? Rob, you want to grab that one?
Or yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, again, and by the way, as Marcus mentioned, many of these questions are addressed in the help guide that we've published in the Sales Resource Center in that Safe Streets Smart Home folder. So definitely make sure to take a look at that. I think we got ahead of most of these questions there. So the answer to this one is sometimes there's a thing called takeovers, as I'm sure many of you are aware of, where sometimes you can kind of tap into certain equipment from another provider and use that with your smart home system. It is on a very case-by-case basis. We certainly don't want to promise that to homeowners. If you have questions, you can give a shout to Safe Streets, and they can potentially tell you if it could work or not. The best answer you're going to get is going to be from the tech on installation day. So that is not the case with the basics, though. Want to make sure that's clear. That you can never take over equipment with the basics, to my understanding. Shane and Josiah can correct me if I'm wrong there, but potential with the premium and essentials, it is possible, but very much on a case-by-case basis. The installation tech can give you the best indication whether that's possible on an individual customer's job.
Okay, so we do have a recurring question in the chat about if we can provide some clarity, Rob, about what happens if they get their equipment installed, but then the homeowner cancels their solar project.
Yeah, so same scenario as it has been for the past couple of years now. So as a part of the terms and conditions, I would urge everybody to go take a look at those terms and conditions. The link is in that help guide. It's going to be Freedom Forever. They're not up there yet, but they will be up there by the time we launch on Monday. It's freedomforever.com/legal/Safe Streets-promo. And in those terms and conditions, the customer is agreeing to essentially, the promotion is with a solar installation, right? You're getting this smart home system with the solar installation. If they install the smart home system and they do not move forward with the solar installation, there would potentially, depending on the situation, be equipment fees that the customer would be responsible for paying. So typically, what would happen is, of course, it is very situational, depends on the reason for canceling and the reason that the system didn't get installed. But in certain instances, these would be referred to our collections team, and those, that team would reach out to the homeowner and, either attempt to get their solar project back on track, or work with the customer to get those equipment fees paid for.
Question from Chris. Photos of different packages on Sales Resource Center. So the folks at Safestreets have also put together a tiled site, which we will include in the recap email. It's going to have pictures, more information about the packages. Also, we'll have like support. The help guide that we'll put in the Sales Resource Center and link to will also have the numbers for Safestreets support, scheduling, customer support. So be on the lookout for the recap email that we'll put together and send out after this presentation's over. It's going to have a great deal of resources linked in that recap that will be very useful. And again, you can always address the Sales Resource Center to get links to those documents as well. So those are all great questions. Hopefully that resolves some, we're getting a lot of questions about contact information in the chat. So, if that addresses those questions, we'll probably archive those and get some questions that are not duplicates. So let me take a few minutes to jump through our queue here, and we'll get some of these. Next question is from Mary. Could the customer get Safestreets by paying for the system rather than being an adder? For Rob.
I mean, it's more or less the same thing, depending on the financing. I mean, they could always put, cash down instead of financing it. But, I suppose kind of one way or the other, they're paying for it through their solar. So not sure, Mary, exactly what you're going for there, but they could put cash down as as kind of a secondary financing or down payment with either a Mosaic project, or you could do potentially split financing with a Sunrun or Everbright financing project. So it's depends on the financing, but it is possible to put cash down, I suppose.
Thanks, Rob. The question from Bracken, and that is, will there be a credit for current customers like previous partnerships?
The answer to that is not right now. We're discussing possibilities of something like that in the future. So I think what you're asking there is if there is an existing ADT customer, will we have an existing customer credit for those? We did discuss it. We have discussed it a bit with the Safestreets team. We'll continue talking through it, but at this point in time, the answer to that is no. Of course, if you wanted to, we do have the option you could add, a homeowner rebate to your project, which Freedom would pay out to the homeowner after solar installation. So if you wanted to do that as a way to help them cover, a certain dollar amount of their monthly ADT expense, you could certainly do that in the meantime.
Thanks, Rob. We do have a question from Cedric, and that is, do we schedule in-home or does ADT call later to schedule the installation? So from the presentation, I believe Safestreets will reach out to schedule once it's attached. So you will add it to your project, and then they will reach out to the homeowner to schedule the installation. Do I have that right, Rob?
Yes, sir. So yes, that's exactly right. There's a phone number that sales reps can call to schedule. That should only be done once the project is submitted. Needs to be submitted, or else Safestreets would not have the homeowner's information and they wouldn't be able to schedule it. So submit the project, call in. If that doesn't happen or doesn't get scheduled, Safestreets will call out, probably the next day.
I got a question about when is it expected to be added to Aurora for the proposal and adder sheet?
Mark, did we discuss timing during the main presentation? I don't recall.
I don't believe so. I don't think that was included in there.
Okay, so that's a pretty important question. We should definitely speak on that. So we're talking about it today, Thursday the 4th. This will be going live, anticipated Monday morning, the 8th. So this upcoming Monday. So You will have these packages and promotions live on the 8th for all new projects that are created. All right. So it's going to be based off the project creation date. So if you create a project today, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're not going to have this as an option. Those customers would not qualify for the promotion. But starting Monday morning, once this goes live, which should be pretty early, first thing Monday morning, all new customers will have the option to opt into this. So that is when you'll have this. We'll put this up probably Sunday night. We'll post a new adder sheet. We'll put this in the Aurora proposal, and we will, make it ready to go Monday. And then Monday, you'll be able to again select this and add it to the project. We'll get ahead of the question, which I'm sure is coming. Can I add this to customers that have already signed up that haven't installed? We Short answer to that is no. You need to. It's basically for new customers that sign up or projects are created after Monday. So, um, so there you go. Hopefully that answers the question.
Okay, this next question is for Shane. If you can answer in our chat, and we'll relay it out. What services do homeowners receive for the monthly payment? Police, fire, ambulance. So can we give them kind of a brief overview of what they're going to get with their Safestreets? And we'll answer that as soon as they have that answer into the chat. While we're waiting for that, we do have a couple more questions. So we're going to go. I'm going to scan through. We do have a lot of duplicate questions. I want to make sure that we're addressing questions as they come in. Rob, there was a question in here because we had some information about it in the presentation. How would a dealer or a rep go about getting PTO pay to get enrolled in that program?
Yeah, so the dealer owner would need to opt into that with freedom. So I would say discuss with your manager, try to funnel that up to the dealer owner that, of course, you're interested in that, and they can discuss with us.
I do have a question in the chat about an acronym for someone who is new. So we referenced PTO in the presentation. PTO stands for permission to operate, which is when the system is actually turned on. So if you ever see that acronym, that PTO, that's what we're referencing. And that kind of addresses what we're talking about with the PTO pay. Question from Ernesto, and that is, if a customer wants more equipment than what's included in these packages, what are the options for them there?
I think I can take that one. Not exactly sure about the price list. So I know if you go on the Safe Streets website, you can just Google Safe Streets. I'm sure we can find the link. I think it's just safestreets.com. They do list their additional equipment that is available. They have a ton of different equipment on there. The customer can absolutely purchase more equipment if they'd like. The technician on site can definitely get pricing if it's not available online. And yeah, they can add whatever they'd like. They would pay for that out of pocket, and they can add on to their package to their heart's content. I'm sure the Safe Shoots team would love that. They also, can once the 12 months is up, again, same deal. If they wanted to add to their package or upgrade or add monitoring, whatever the case may be, they certainly could do that. I'll do my best to circle back to the question, Mark, if it's okay with you, about the kind of what do they get with the monitoring. I mean, it's essentially just like most other smart home and home security systems here. So you're going to have, depending on which package you have, you would have different inclusions. So with for example, the door sensors or window sensors, once you kind of lock your system, the system is going to have certain triggers that would, prompt an alarm of some sort. So if, one of those doors were to open, for example, that would be kind of the burglar alarm. So typically the way these things work is that, the professional monitoring service would see that, okay, an alarm was tripped. They would reach out by phone or through the panel to the homeowner, try to confirm that everything's okay. There would be some sort of passcode situation. Hey, is everything all right? Give me the secret code. As long as that is cleared and nothing happens. If that isn't cleared for whatever reason, then the monitoring would reach out to local, police or fire or, ambulance, whatever the case may be, depending on which alarm is being tripped. And they would dispatch emergency services to the home. So hopefully I answered that all right, Shane and Josiah. But typically that's the way these would work. I have one in my own home, and that's pretty much what we're used to here as well.
Appreciate that, Rob. Question from Alfredo. If the customer says no for now and they change their mind, can they take advantage of the promotion? Is that something that has to be done, scheduled at point of sale, or what do they do if they realize after the fact, oh, that's great, I want that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So and we've seen that happen in the past every now and again. So as long as the customer qualified for the promotion at the time of sale, in other words, they the project was created after Monday and they're in a qualifying zip code, they could opt to take advantage of the promotion after the point of sale. What you can do is you can call into Freedom Sales Concierge, or you can open up a Lightspeed ticket and request that a package get added. What our team would do is then we'd send out the opt-in form to the homeowner, make sure that gets signed, and then once it's signed, we'd send the homeowner's information over to Safestreets, and they would reach out to the customer to schedule the installation. So pretty easy process. And then of course we'd add the appropriate adder to the scope of work if there is one.
All right, next question is from Oscar. Is the equipment hooked up to Wi-Fi, or does it have a cellular chip? Wi-Fi is required if they select the Essentials or Premium package, but with monitoring, the cell chip will be included in their customer's panel. Hope that answers your question. Our next question is the hub system going to be integrated with the panel's production like with the Vivint hub? So will they be able to monitor the system's production with Safestreets?
At this point, no. We haven't discussed that much yet with Safestreets. As you guys recall, that took a little while to get kind of up and running with our previous provider. I don't know that that's going to be possible here, but we'll continue to discuss it and aim for that. But at this point, no, and no for the foreseeable future.
Thanks, Rob.
But I will say, just of course, homeowners would always have monitoring through the Freedom Customer Portal. They typically can download the Solar Edge or Enphase app and monitor it there. So of course they'd still have that monitoring, just wouldn't necessarily be within the smart home.
Okay, so we've kind of reached the end of our question chain. If you have questions that are outside of the topic at hand, you can always email us at producteducation@freedomforever.com. We had a few questions that were not considered on topic, the things about commissions or